Hey, what's up? It's Matt, and we're back for another episode of MPTV. Today, we're at Dickey's Barbecue in Amelia to talk to Patrick Harder, who owns 9 restaurants with 4 different concepts. We're gonna cover some pretty great stuff. Number one, we're gonna talk about culture. We're gonna talk about how to have your team have your back. We're also gonna dig into mentorship and having people outside of your business that can help you and help you influence how to run your team to get that culture. And last but not least, we're gonna dig into reviews because we all get good, we also all get bad, and how Patrick deals with them and how he turns them around and gets lifetime customers. Let's check it out. Hey, what's up? It's Matt, and we're back with another episode of MPTV. And today, we're in Amelia, Ohio with Patrick Harder of the Harder Restaurant Group at his Dickey's Barbecue. Welcome.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Patrick, you've probably seen the podcast, MPTV. It's about 2 things. It's about making profit in the restaurant business, but over that, it's about what you're doing to make profit, what you're doing in business to your employees, your food, your marketing. And I'm gonna guess you do a lot of that, because you've got, a bunch of different hats to wear, 9 restaurants, 4 brands, is that right?
Yep, 4 brands, 4 concepts, 9 restaurants.
Okay.
Yep.
So tell us a little about you, your background, how you got in this business, and
Sure.
Then we'll go into it.
The background definitely wasn't what got me into the business. I was in sales, and I have a degree in criminal justice.
Criminal justice?
Criminal justice, so that really didn't have anything to do with it, you know. But I got into sales, and I was always interested in the franchise business. And after about a year in sales, cold call, you know, on the phones, and I just wasn't for me to sit there at a desk. So researched some concepts, knew of Dickey's, and Dickey's was my first one in 2014. So
okay.
Yeah.
So what about the franchise part of it attracted you? I mean, I'm guessing maybe because you didn't have a background in the restaurant business.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they already have the concept. You know, most of the time it's a proven concept. You know, I've definitely learned that it definitely can look better from the outside, and then once you get in, you realize, okay, some people know what they're doing, some people have a good handle on their concept, and but you know, there's franchisors are very different as you go from concept to concept, and all of them have different focuses, and some of them are more franchisee oriented, and other of them just really care about themselves and making their money. So yeah.
What's been the biggest thing you've learned about the franchise? I mean, you deal with 4 different franchises.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest thing that if you were to advise somebody looking at a franchise, the biggest thing you've learned, like, man, I wish I knew this 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever?
If you're like just getting into it, usually the franchisor will give you a list of people to call and you know, to ask any questions to. Scrap that list and go to everybody else in the franchise concept and call them and you know, ask them what their experience is, and you know, that way you do get the, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you know, that's something in a couple concepts I wish I would have done, is call other people and you know, ask, you know, instead of, hey, here's our best store, call them and interview them. So but yeah, I mean, that's you know, you got to know what you're getting into, and doing a lot of research. Sometimes, you know, you get this idea, you find a brand, and you're just, if you're like me, that nobody else can tell you anything. You know, this is what I want, I'm going for it. And sometimes you just have to take that step back, find somebody who's been in the industry a long time, and just start asking tons and tons of questions. And luckily, it was after I bought Dickey's, but I got in with a guy who builds all of my restaurants, and he also owns franchises. Yep. And he's been just a fantastic mentor for me, and an open book. You know, I can call him anytime and ask him any questions. So if you can have somebody like that who can help you walk through the process if you're new to it, that's very invaluable.
And I think that's something, two things I've learned, especially the last 5 or 6 years, mentors and masterminds.
Yeah.
And a lot of people outside the marketing world don't do masterminds as much. I don't know if you do or not, but I've got a group of 10 to 20 people that every 3 to 4 months we're together in a city.
Yep.
We all do a similar thing, but everybody's got their own look. You got different vision of what something looks good or bad.
Yeah.
But mentors are huge.
Huge. That's, even if it's not, even if it's not somebody directly in your industry, even if it's just a very good business person. And I have a couple of those. I have one guy who I know I can call, and he's a CEO of a company and the founder of it as well. And it was, there's a point there, and where I was just like really down about some stuff, and if you call and you talk to some of these people who are very successful, and you rewind, all of a sudden you realize these people have gone through exactly what I've gone through. And they've been in this position, and they understand this position. And it's very rarely does somebody just pop in and skyrocket to the top. And I've me and you have sat down and talked about the boat business and your struggles there and through hard economic times and hearing that from other people and other business owners. You just, if you can surround yourself with successful people, you can really draw motivation from them and a lot of peace from them, knowing that, hey, these people have already been through what I've been through, and it wasn't just sunshine all the time.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think entrepreneurship is a lonely journey.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to get in at an early age, in my early 20s, and also unfortunate because I look back when I was 28 to 30, I was pretty wealthy.
Yeah.
I was pretty arrogant. I didn't know what I didn't know, and every month was a learning curve. But what I learned, especially when I got out of that business in 08, with the help of the economy and a 7-figure loss, you can't, that really humbles you. But my first 5 to 6 years of running my agency, I realized that one, everybody you come around that maybe works for you or are on the outside think you're a millionaire. Like, life is easy.
Everybody.
You've got it easy.
Yep.
Nobody understands your journey.
Right.
Like, I remember telling my wife one time, like, I've never had anybody that I could go to that knew the journey I was on. And then when I started figuring out of mentorship and masterminds, it could. And I've got a list of 5 people on my phone that, they always say that surround yourself with 5 people, the best 5 people you can. And one of them is a very Christian man that I think is an amazing person and human. He's not, I always joke, I say, you're the wealthiest person I know. He's like, Matt, I'm the poorest person. I said, financially, yes.
Yeah.
But spiritually and how you live life, you're a breath of fresh air.
That's right.
And the way I got a buddy of mine who's an amazing father.
Yeah.
And when I ask him for business conversation, he has no clue about business stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll call and have a conversation. His perspective, it's funny how he's a father relates to how you treat employees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think that's really helped me. So on your journey, let's dig into the business. What's been something that you think that you've excelled at with running restaurants that maybe a lot of people might not excel at because they come from it at a different angle?
Yeah, I guess, a couple things. The one would be the multiple concepts. That's really been able to open my eyes just to get the experience of different concepts, of different franchisors, of different processes and procedures, and there's processes and procedures that we'll have in one concept, and we'll take it over to the other concept. And so if you can get all 4 of these operating manuals, and a lot of times you can kind of pick out of each one what's incredible. And that helps for people who are coming in, I call them frantrepreneurs, because you're coming in, you already have a system, but sometimes relying solely on that system can really hurt you. We have one concept where it is basically, we've always done it this way, and that's how it's going to be. And in my opinion, that's one of the most detrimental things, to business and to expansion and growth. And so we've been able to kind of harness some other procedures and some other philosophies within the other concepts to bring them into this concept, and just try to grow our location as a one-off. So
yeah, I think that's unique. We when we were in the boat business, we were one of Yamaha. We were the number 3 dealership in the country for Yamaha outboards, and we were part of what was called the Symposium 20. And every 3 months, they bribed us with a trip to Vegas or Shreveport or Atlantic City. It was always a casino, I guess, because they knew we all liked to lose our money somehow and have fun. But it was wild because we would all sit there, and it wasn't franchises, but it was 20 different business owners all doing exactly the same thing. And it was funny to see how somebody did their parts department different here, and here.
Yeah.
And nobody was completely right. Like you're saying, you can look at all 4 of these franchise manuals
Absolutely.
and go, I like that, I hate that, I like that, I hate that, and you can kind of pull them together.
Yep.
Let's talk about something I think has to be, I know you're strong at it, but it has to be a struggle, is the culture, because we're at a Dickey's, and if you go to one of your other concepts, the service is different, the experience is different. How have you helped put on multiple hats with creating a culture in your concepts?
Yeah, I think when we come in, and we really want our staff to know that we're different than the industry standard. We've heard lots of horror stories about some of the fast casual or fast food cultures out there, and how they're ran and how their employees are treated. And since day one, me and Brett Jackson, my right-hand man, we have purposed to be different in the culture that we try to create. Now, as you grow, that's harder to achieve across 9 stores. When me and Brett aren't, when it was just me and Brett inside of Dickey's Barbecue, and we were here, a combined 120 hours a week. That's easy, But then the focus becomes, now that you have 9 stores, the focus becomes me and Brett, how do we develop a culture for our GMs to where they then develop a culture for the crew, And
it's got to be part of them as well.
It has to, it has to. And if you don't have that, then people don't want to come to work, and I truly know that it affects your bottom line. If you have people who you can create a culture where it's a family culture, where there's love in the culture, and they come in and they have each other's backs and they have good attitudes, the customers see that big time.
Oh, yeah.
And we've tried to harness young people, young high schoolers and college age students to try to bring them in and develop that culture, and get some of that liveliness pulled out of them, and
energy.
A lot of energy, and so we've I think that's one thing we do pretty well. If there's with 9 stores, sometimes there's always that culture that maybe suffers because it was a store that was doing really well, and you're putting some focus over here, and so if it starts to drop, then me or Brett can kind of walk in, and if we can spend a week or 2 in that store, we can get that culture right back up.
Okay, break time. Restaurateurs, it's Matt. And if you're watching MPTV, you're obviously interested in improving your business. What if I told you could finally take the hope and pray out of your marketing plan and spend money and see results? You see, most marketing starts with the same exact tactic. You gain the attention of somebody, but that's where the majority of it stops. What we do with the ROI engine is help you gain amazing attention, which drives gigantic engagement. That engagement leads to customers to tell us who they are, meaning they opt into your email, text, and birthday program, and then we drive them to buy something. We've got a lot of great programs that can help you, and we'd love to have a conversation with you. If you're interested, it's easy. Check out ROIexperts.net. You can schedule an appointment, and we'll hop on a call with you. Worst case scenario, you learn how to market your restaurant like you've never heard of before. Back to the action. That brings me back to a question that you mentioned to me probably 3 or 4 months ago. You said, man, I had a tough couple months last year with a couple of my concepts because, I hope you don't mind me saying this, you were saying that you took your eye off a couple stores because they were doing so well.
Right.
and you took your focus off. What did you do to get back did you just get back in there?
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You literally just have to get back in there. We opened last year. We opened 5 stores, which I would never recommend, and I would never
5 stores.
I would never do again.
Now at least it was the same concept, right?
Yeah, it was. They were all rapid fire pizzas, but that without a really, I guess, robust team, but it was pretty much just me and Brett, and man, that's brutal. So then, throughout the course of that year, your focus is so much on developing these new stores that the ones that were already established, they suffered a little bit, and so now you just have to turn around. You have to, once they were all open, we got our feet back under us. It was like, we always talk about that it's like drinking from a fire hose, it's just full open, and you're just not ready for it. But once that settles down, you get your feet back under you. You get back in that concept. You spend some time with that GM. You spend some time with the crew. If they can see you, and again, it goes back to that, knowing that they care about you factor, knowing that they're loved, and if you can really show that, it's going to be reciprocated.
So talking about culture, you might not know this, but I use you as an example without using you as an example many times. Okay. So I talk to restaurant operators a lot about reviews.
Yeah.
And there's this perception that this is Dickey's Barbecue. This is a huge company.
Massive.
The person that owns this is in a high rise with a Bentley. And in reality, it's not. It's Patrick down the street with his wife and kids.
Yeah.
And I remember a review that you responded to a while back. And this is part of me that really I struggle with a lot of times, because we deal with a lot of different aged restaurant owners. Mm-hmm. 25, 35, 55, 75. I got one client that's in his 80s. Some of them are engaged in social media, some of them aren't.
Yeah.
And I think the ones that aren't are just missing out so much. But I remember, I've seen it many times, but I remember one time in particular that somebody had left a negative review on one of your pages. Mm-hmm. And you responded and said, not as the page, but as Patrick Harder. Yeah. And you said something to the effect of, hey, we obviously messed up. We're not a big company.
Yeah.
I live down the street. I go to this church. This affects our employees when we don't do our job right. How can we fix it?
Yeah.
Talk about like that approach, because I think that's unique and it's genuine.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes with, I guess, a certain personality too. I grew up an athlete, and I'm so competitive, and so I want to be the best at everything. And when I see somebody who doesn't like my product, but I know it's a great product, then it just eats at me. And so if I can go and talk to that person one-on-one, and again, it comes out of left field, and they're like, oh,
they're not expecting
this is the owner of this restaurant. I did it last week. Somebody had come into Dickey's, and we messed up we just forgot some things on their order. And so they left a just a negative review, and it goes through the email and everything, and I got it, and I just picked up the phone. I called the guy, and he goes, man, he said, it's funny you called me. He said, I remember you. He said, I used to come in there, or he said, I come in there all the time. And he said, I swear I've been in there 70 times, and I've never had an issue. He said, I just wanted to reach out and let somebody know that this happened so that it can be addressed. And we just had a really good back and forth, and he said, yeah, I've talked to you multiple times, and he said, thanks so much for reaching out. And he said, I don't want anything, of course I gave him some, because our philosophy is make it right plus. So we always make it right, and then we go above and beyond, and
like that.
and do the plus factor to show them, oh, okay, they're not just, okay, here's your side, here's your little side, that we missed. No, here's a $20 credit for next time you come in. We're sorry for messing up. Because then people they genuinely know that you hate messing up, and you do not want to mess up, and they know if you go above and beyond that you really mean it. But yeah, it's hard now. Again, stuff that personal touch gets harder as you get nine locations deep. And I think I'd probably just be on social media 24/7 if I had to go on and, But luckily we have people in the franchisor that go on and talk about some things. But yeah, that's, I love it. I can't tell you how many times that we've made longtime customers out of the connection that I've made over social media on a personal level. Whether it's just, a lot of times if there's no phone number, I just ask them.
Yep.
Can you please send me your phone number? Because I want to get on the phone with them and I want them to hear it in my voice that I care. So that's a huge aspect of what we try to do.
Restaurant owners, did you know Matt has free online marketing courses that teach you how to successfully market your restaurant? Email support@mattplapp.com to get access to the courses and a free social media content calendar.
I think the tough part with reviews, I remember telling a former client of mine and a good friend still, Evan, we were talking last week, he got auto repair shop, does an amazing job. Whenever he got a review that wasn't perfect, it was like somebody just ripped his heart out.
Yes.
And he would call me so distraught. I'm like, bro, just break it down.
Yeah.
99% of the times you guys crush it.
Yeah.
1% of the time you're not. You're gonna fail. And he used to always want to have every review offline that was negative. I said, no, we want negative. It shows that, not a lot, but it shows that you're human. It shows that you're not gaming the system.
Yeah.
And if you respond correctly,
That's right.
the people that do see the negative go, they care.
Yeah.
And you said something that reminded me of a story back in the day that I never forget, and I got a lot of accolades for back then, and didn't really mean to get them. When we had the boat business, we were small. When we first started, it's probably about 3 years into it. I was also working in radio at the time, and this guy named Kurt, if you're watching, how you doing? Doubt he is. But Kurt had a temper, and Kurt had bought a boat from us. It was his first ever brand new boat. And he bought a brand new boat from us, about 40 grand. It came in, and we had just started carrying this boat line, and so there was different ways to order the trailer. He could have come with a single or tandem axle. He thought he was getting a tandem, he got a single. And I'm like, I would guess 25, 26.
Yeah.
And and this guy's intimidating looking.
Yeah.
Like he's like one of these guys like you cross the street when they're coming down. Yeah. And he flipped a lid on me. And I'm just looking at him over a trailer. And I said, you know what? And I remember because like the next day he called and apologized. I just said, hey, we messed up.
Yeah.
I'll make it good.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen. Don't worry about it. Don't threat. Well, the next day I get a call from him, and then I get a call from his brother because apparently I didn't know people were watching.
Yeah.
And his brother's called. I want to apologize for our family because I don't know why he lost his cool like that over a freaking boat trailer, but he represents us. We're sorry. Well, we actually weren't wrong. I had the proof, emails, everything that he ordered, but he was trying to get one over on us.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in a business, you're like, he's not getting one over on me.
Yeah.
But I let it. I ordered him. We spent $1,200 more buying the right trailer.
Yeah.
We ate the other trailer, which was about $2 grand. We eventually had to sell it on its own, which isn't easy to sell a random bass boat trailer.
Yeah.
But then for Christmas, I went one step further. About 3 months later, it was Christmas. I sent him a Christmas gift for a custom Bullet Bass Boats fishing jersey, about $200.
That's good.
And I said, hey man, I'll let you know we appreciate your business. I apologize for the confusion last year. We value you as a customer. Thank you. That guy was my best friend the next 7 years.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just, my dad always said, kill him with kindness.
That's right.
If you did it wrong, swallow your pride, even if you have proof that the person didn't do it right.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's, I mean, and sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't. I have one story from Dickey's where, and I'll give anything to anybody just to try to get them back, but this one was just so, just cut and dry, so clear. And this guy came in and he basically called back and said, hey, I ordered a pork sandwich and you guys gave me a brisket sandwich. And actually it was on, he sent a message in social media. And so I said, I'm so sorry, let me look into this. And I just went and got on the cameras, and I went and looked at it just to see who the employee was, what happened. And with brisket, you use a knife and you cut it. And with pork, you just grab it with your hand, right?
It's pulled.
So I could clearly see the meat cabinet, the warmer, and I see her open the door, pull out a pork butt, stick her hand in there, pull it out, make his sandwich, put it in the bag, and he walks out. And I'm like, oh no, he got a pork sandwich. So I'm thinking maybe somebody cut the brisket wrong and maybe it was stringy and maybe it looked like pork. And so I sent him screenshots of everything. And I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that you did get pork. I don't know if it if it looked weird or something like that, but it definitely was pork. And he just went off on me and said,
because you just called him a liar.
How dare you question me, and I will never be back. And I was like, okay, well, that didn't go.
That didn't go as planned.
That didn't go how I thought. So, there's always going to be people out there that no matter, how above and beyond you go or you just can't reason with them, So, most stories don't end like that, but that one always sticks with me.
There's always that time that you've done your research and you try and point, you think you have the story.
Yeah.
Like me, I've tried to point things out to my wife in our 20 years of marriage of why I wasn't wrong, and here's proof, and then I'm like, man, I'm an idiot like an hour afterwards.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so wrapping up, you're talking to restaurant owners and operators, general managers, people in the business like you.
Yeah.
One tip, something that you've done and you've consistently done and you've seen it pay off that you would say, hey, if you're not doing this, start today and make it happen, whether it's quick or long term.
I think it goes back to culture. I mean, I know we've talked about it, but I've been to graduations, I've been to sporting events, I've been to recitals, I've been to all the grad parties of all of our employees, and just developing that culture and that personal connection not only helps with the customers coming in and the vibe of your restaurant, but it helps either if you're the one running your concept, it helps your life, because when somebody calls off or when you're in a pinch, if those people know, oh man, I know this is going to negatively affect Patrick, then they want to help out. But if you don't have that culture and you don't have that relationship with them and you haven't taken those opportunities to go above and beyond for them, they're not going to for you. And so when somebody calls off when you're sitting at the dinner table with your family and you send out a text message, a group text message, hey, is there anybody available? If you have this amazing culture, more than likely, you're gonna get 5 texts back saying, yeah, I got it, I'll run up there right now. If you don't have that culture, crickets. You're not gonna get anything back. And you're getting your butt up and you're going in there and you're covering that shift. And so it not only affects your restaurant, your bottom line, the vibe of your restaurant, but it affects whoever's running that restaurant. It affects their personal life as well, and helps them not have to be so consumed with running a restaurant. If you have that culture where people care and they want to step up, then there's a lot of people to have your back.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. I remember the boat dealership one day. We had a guy, whole other wild story, great guy, but he got jumped and pistol whipped. Like he came to work and it looked bad. And I said, dude, what are you doing here? And he said, you need me today. And I knew that if I didn't show up, that this would cause issue. I'm like, I heard what happened. Go home.
Yeah.
We had to talk him out of working.
Yeah.
And he eventually went home.
That's right.
And I gave him a week off. I said, you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
You're going to get a week off. What happened was bad.
Yeah.
And it looked bad.
Yeah.
But he was like, I came because I thought that if I didn't show up, I knew it would put you, like me, on a forklift.
Right.
And you don't need to be on a forklift. You need to be doing this.
Yeah.
And it meant a lot to me.
That's right.
Because I said, dude, I'll get on the forklift for a week. Even though I'm supposed to be running the business, I'll get on it. I want you to get healthy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a key part.
It is, absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for your time
You
today.
bet, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That wraps up NPTV. So culture, I call that maybe the employee table touch, where you're going to their events. If you're a part of their lives, they're going to be a part of your life, and hey, take more of a vested interest.
Yep.
Responding to reviews, having conversation with customers, but more than anything, studying your skill, becoming better at what you're doing, and having mentors and having people around you that have your back. That's all we got for this episode. See you later.